Hi guys, Liz here, or aka Isabel Sharon, aka Bondi Babe, aka. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to call this coffee with Isa, or coffee with Liz, or coffee with Bondi Babe, or whoever you want to have coffee with. It's still the same person. It's me. Okay, now Strawberry Singh had on her YouTube channel and on her blog a challenge to vloggers and people that want to be vloggers to give it a go and obviously talk about our lives, what brings us to our cell, etc., and our interests and stuff. So part of me was like, I didn't think it was my place to, because I think I've been fairly outspoken about my life here. And then I thought, okay, a lot of people don't know a lot of things about me. So, and I'm a very open person, as most people that will watch my some parts of my YouTube and also my blog will be aware that I mix reality and virtual life together, because that's just my preference, and so I'll often have real life pictures in there, amongst my virtual stuff as well. So anyhow, my name is Liz, and that's my real life name. And when I first came to Second Life, I came in as Liz for Paris. I've actually been here a lot longer than anyone realizes. I've actually been here since 2003. I first came into Second Life at its inception, and at the time I was like, wow, what is this? But I had the worst computer on the planet and the worst internet connection, because if you think back then, I had dial-up. So you tried to use dial-up trying to access this, it was just a nightmare. So I didn't last long and shut the account. I didn't bother with it, took the software off the computer, and if I recall, I don't know if it was software, it was a web page, I can't remember, it was so long ago, it feels like. Anyhow, I re-entered Second Life in about 2007, and the reason I re-entered it was actually because the company that I work for, which is a government organisation, I work for the government, had encouraged employees to join Second Life because they actually had a simulator. They had rented, bought, whatever, I don't know what they did, and it was about education and interactions and networking, that kind of thing. And I rejoined, and I still had a rubbish computer, so I gave up, as you do. Then in 2010, I got a really good computer. Oh, well, I thought so at the time. I had a gaming laptop, and I thought, I'm going to try it again. So in 2010, I joined as Liz for Paris Adored, and so started my virtual life. And I have been Liz for Paris Adored since then. But there was a time that I shut my account down. I just shut it. And I just wanted it to be dormant, because Liz for Paris Adored, because my nickname in real life has always been Liz for Paris, you could find me all over the internet. And I'm just telling you that now because you're probably going to go and Google it. Yes, there are pages of me. Yeah, pages. So I thought at the time, I've got to hide this. And so I created Isabel Sharon. And so when I created Isabel Sharon, I thought, that's a good idea, having a different identity, because I can go and visit all the places I've wanted to visit that I shouldn't go to, just to check out all these things. And so I did. And so there started my virtual life. And at that point, I became a person that just loved having land, doing up houses, all that kind of thing. And so that's basically what I started doing. And I had my first SL relationship with a Romanian guy, and we were together for about 3 years. But the crossover in real life and all that, it becomes a different thing. So yes, I did have a relationship. I've actually not had one since. I've had moments of, but never really anything as important as that. And so my time has been spent wandering around, doing up houses, all that kind of thing, because by essence I'm actually quite a loner in Second Life, and many people will tell you that. They don't really see me at events for very long, or if I'm there, I'm very quiet. But then for the last few years, if I'm there, I'm actually filming, and it's one of those things I love to do, and I spend my time doing it. My first Second Life film was when I actually became part of a magazine. I fancied myself as a writer for a magazine, and so I joined this magazine group. I can't even remember what it was called. I think it sold quite a few copies at the time, and I wrote a couple of articles, but actually it was more my friend who was the better writer out of us, and she started taking that on more. But I did do my very first blog thing, and this was 1st of April 2010, and I'll throw a link to that at the bottom of this, and you can go and laugh. This was as my original Elise for Paris avatar, and I watch that every now and then because it just makes me chuckle. So I did that very first vlog, if you want to call it, back in 2010. I never shared it with anyone. I never did anything about it. And then I left YouTube alone in terms of this account that I'm on until 2014 before I touched it again. But I actually have a real life YouTube channel, and I actually started doing videos and that kind of thing on my real life YouTube channel with really bad graphics. Because I like to mix music and stuff in real life. I actually have a SoundCloud account and I mess around with music. You know, I'm a pretend Avicii, you know, as you do. And I just wanted to make videos that weren't, you know, breaching copyright. So hence I was doing pixel videos, and I was doing them mostly on my own, to be honest. You know, dancing in a spot and that kind of thing. And then in 2014, I used to hang around at a place called Exodus. I used to love going there. I mean, to be honest, since 2010, I hung around at Exodus on and off. When I was one of I think I was one of the first people there, and Kess may not ever remember me, but she might remember me and Bog, who I used to go with, and a couple of my friends would go there, and so I became one of those silent dancers at Exodus. And so in 2014, Exodus had expanded and become bigger, and I started going to their different themed events. So I wouldn't go like during the week. I would be like the Saturday person, and I did my first video there. And that was in 2014, and after that I was addicted. Every Saturday night I would do a video, and most of my videos were always done at Exodus. So if you look at my earliest stage of YouTube, it was mostly Exodus because I loved the theme nights. I just loved it, and I loved the fact that people dressed up, and it was so much fun. And then of course I started doing my own little things, my own little videos, and you know, I didn't really get many views until I did Who Let the Dogs Out. And a few people that were in that video and who probably might be listening to this, who were part of it, dressed in their dog costumes from Abranations, Abranham Animations. We all got free on that day because it was a group gift. That video went absolutely mentally viral, and it's got a ridiculous amount of views, and I still sit there and chuckle about it, and I just think, wow, really? But it's 22,000 to be precise for that silly video. But actually, it was. I think it's just a fun factor. It was just fun to me, so I just kept doing them, and I never vlogged until if you look back at my video, because I'm not going to explain much of it now, but I had a problem with my Second Life accounts last year, and I actually lost my accounts for 3 months, and it was such a nightmare. And I never vlogged as such until I got so exasperated I actually came onto YouTube and I did it on my mobile phone, and I did this video about what was happening to me, and the responses I got was amazing. It was just like, wow. I didn't think anyone would watch it, but they did. And actually, through doing that, someone from Second Life contacted me, and everything's been sorted out. So that's a wonderful thing. But after that, I was like, oh, I don't mind this talking thing. I don't mind it at all. And so I got my accounts back, and I started because I've had my blog now since, oh god, the beginning of 2016, end of 2015. I've had my blog, and my blog has always been a paid for blog, so it's my blog. It's my blog. It's not a Second Life blog. It's not a real life blog. It's just whatever I want it to be. But I like to use my virtual life in here because it's so rich. I love virtual stuff, and I love what creators do. So I started doing the vlogs. So I started blogging for other people, but because let me rewind. My blog has never been supported by any merchants. I'd never had any merchant that I'd blog anything for. I just used to love all merchants, and I would automatically. And there are many famous merchants that if they were to go through my blog, they'll see that I was actually blogging their stuff a long time ago, because I love their stuff. I just absolutely love what people can do and how creative they are and what they make. So I love taking photos. I'm not the world's greatest photographer, and I don't use Photoshop because I really don't know what I'm doing. So I've been blogging clothes and not blogging clothes, but every picture told a story, and I would put the credits down. Then obviously I got my accounts back, so I'm winding forward again, and I had one merchant approach me and say, would you like to blog for us? And I'd never thought about it, and I thought, yeah, because at the time I'd decided when I got back into my SL world, I wasn't going to spend any money in here, because I've spent an awful lot of money in here, and I wasn't going to spend any money. And so I was doing blogs on being a newbie for a while, and then I got approached by a merchant and who asked me, and I was like, oh, okay. And then after that, I was like, I really like doing this, so I started applying. And now I do for a number of people now. I love doing it, and I absolutely adore the people that I blog for, because they do their little bit, and they make such lovely things. And do you know what? It doesn't matter whether they're mesh items that they haven't created themselves. It's about the texturing, and it's about all the work to produce the product. There's many lines of a chain to produce any product. And I think everybody along that line of chain is important. So I love doing it, and I love showing off stuff. And so I started talking about it, and especially HUD outfits, because I'm like this real advocate for HUD outfits, as you see. I ramble about them. And only because, to me, especially for you if you're not SL rich, and, no one's SL rich really. I don't know, some people are. Some people are very fortunate in their real lives, and they can spend a shed load of money and not care about it. But other people are not fortunate. So a HUD outfit is far more cost effective for someone who is in here a lot, but doesn't have the funds to spend ridiculous amounts of money. So I really love HUD outfits, and I especially learned to love them even more at a period of time when I was trying not to spend money. I thought they were great. So I started blogging and vlogging, and now I kind of really like vlogging. Now you can't get me to shut up. and I have to try really hard, because when I do my vlogs, I actually do want to... What you read in my blog is what I actually want to say in my vlog, but I don't, because I just think, well, no, I don't want to detract from the merchant's outfit, so I won't talk about the things that are, bugging me at the time. I'll save them for my blog. But I love yakking away about stuff, and I hate it when I miss out on anything. So like when I'm at events, I've done 2 events at the moment, and I'm just going into my 3rd one. There's a criteria, you're expected to do this many, which is doable for most people. But in my real life, as in my pretend life, I like to call it my pretend life, I tend to push myself. And no, it's not hard work to me, but I kind of thrive on a bit of stress. So I like to make sure I get to as many merchants as I can, and try and do something for them. Because they've given me their stuff. I try and do that. Sometimes I can't because the time factor, or I think, oh my God, there's only 10 days of this and I can't fit it all in. But I try and do the best that I can. Sometimes it's a little bit crazy, but I just do. So anyhow, that's my vlogging thing. My second life, strangely, one thing I will say is a lot of people assume, and I've seen comments, I saw comments like this when I did my real life video of myself on this channel about losing my accounts, and there were some really insulting comments. In fact, I actually moderated the comments for a while because they were that nasty. I thought, you know what, you have no right to put that on comment there because that's not fair to other people. They weren't just directed at me, they were also directed generally at people in Second Life and stuff. But one of the assumptions is that you're this middle it seems to be the assumption that if you're middle-aged, which I am, you're not allowed to be in here. Well, I'm sorry. Middle-aged people created this. Middle-aged people work at Linden Lab, as do 20-somethings, as do older people. This is a world for everybody. It's a world for everybody of every age, every colour, every culture, every way of thinking, and it's there for everybody. So for me, I love it because I come in here and I'm just me. I come in here because my real life, people also make the assumption that when you're in a virtual world that you're unemployed and you do nothing. Wrong assumption to make. Very wrong assumption to make. Or that you're sad, you're lonely, or that. I'm not sad. I'm not lonely. I'm a reasonably attractive woman. Says I. I'm a reasonably attractive woman of a middle age who has a very full life, very full friends and family. I have many hobbies. SL isn't my only hobby. You might see me logged in all the time. However, it doesn't mean I'm at my computer because I leave myself running now. And I come here because in my real world, I have an awful lot of stress. I do a high-pressure job, which encompasses an awful lot of stress, and sometimes you need something that takes you away from that. And so when I first started coming here, I appreciated the time spent that de-stressed me. So for me, it's been a great way to balance my life, I think. And like I said, I have a full life. I work full time. I'm 37 hours a week. I also represent people who are having difficulties in the workplace, and I've been to court. I do a lot of things. So I'm not this like some people put it, sad middle-aged frumpy woman. Far from it. And I know a lot of people in here, and they certainly are not that. So I think that's important to dispel that myth that sort of stigmatizes people because they just think they call this a game, and it's not a game. It's a virtual world. As far as the way I see a game has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it has targets to achieve. Second Life's nothing like that. Second Life is just an alternate chat platform, but you're able to bring a sense of reality to it because you're creating this character and you're giving your character a stamp. You're making that character yours, and I think that's just an absolutely beautiful thing that we can do that. And the amazing advancements in how your avatar looks just blows me away. It's just amazing. Anyhow, I think I've rambled on a bit too long now. It's probably surpassed what Strawberry was talking about. But as you can tell, I like talking. And the day that I started vlogging was the day no one can turn that bloody switch off. So anyhow, that's just about my experience. And I say, you know what? Let's get it out there. There's more to this world than what people think. Thanks for listening, and have a lovely day, and bye-bye.